Hi Nana. In this video we will learn about wrought iron. It is also called as pure iron. Okay. See, actually, nearly pure form of iron is called as wrought iron. Wrought iron is nothing but it is a nearly pure form of iron. Okay. So if you see the composition of the nearly pure form of iron, that means wrought iron. So its composition contains iron, carbon, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, and manganese. Okay. The iron is present at 99.54% and carbon is around 0.2%. Okay. Silicon around 0.15 percentage. Silicon around 0.15 percentage. Okay. See, if you see phosphorus, the percentage of phosphorus is 0.02%, 0.02 percentage, and sulfur percentage is 0.04, 0.04 percentage, and manganese is 0.05 percentage. So the composition of this wrought iron. See, actually, these are impurities, but they are present in very less amount. Okay, so almost it is pure form, nearly pure form, because it is 99.54%. So only just zero, I mean 0.46 percentage of the this wrought iron is having impurities. Only very little amount of impurities are present. Hence, it is almost nearly pure form of iron. Okay. See how to manufacture this wrought iron. Wrought iron or pure iron. How it is manufactured. See, actually, cast iron it is used. Cast iron, from cast iron the wrought iron is prepared. Actually, cast iron. If you see the cast iron contains more amount of this one impurities. Okay, cast iron contains more amount of impurities. Around carbon percentage is around here mainly cast iron. The percentage of carbon is nearly 2.5 to 5 percentage. So now if you reduce the percentage of carbon, okay, if you reduce the percentage of carbon, so then it will and also the percentages and also if you remove these impurities, then it becomes a wrought iron. So even along with carbon, even other impurities like phosphorus, sulfur, and manganese are also present. So upon reducing the percentage of these things from the cast iron, then it will become wrought iron. Okay. So that means for the manufacturing of wrought iron, we need cast iron. From cast iron only, we have to melt. So first of all, we have to melt this cast iron. So melt this cast iron in a shallow furnace. Furnace means, the rooms or the places where higher temperatures are maintained. And this furnace, the walls of the furnace, it is made up of material which can withstand very high temperatures. Okay, so this is the wall, and it can withstand very high temperature. And inside this furnace, this is called as furnace, and inside this the inner lining of this furnace, okay, the inner lining of this furnace, It is made up of hematite. So this is inner lining and it is made up of hematite. What is hematite? It is nothing but, it is also another ore of iron, Fe3O4. Sorry, Fe2O3. Fe2O3. So now this molten cast iron is poured into this. What is this one? Molten cast iron. So into this furnace, okay, so cast iron, molten cast iron is poured, and the inner lining of furnace, it is made up of hematite. So what happens? This hematite will remove the carbon present in this. See, hematite will react with the carbon present in the molten cast iron and convert this carbon into carbon monoxide. So this carbon will be converted into carbon monoxide and iron is formed. Okay, so carbon monoxide are formed. So like this, what happened? The impurity, the carbon impurity, it is greatly reduced by this hematite layer. Okay, hematite lining. Okay. Next, if you see the other impurities, so in order to remove the other impurities, so this carbon is removed in the form of, that means the carbon. So this impurity, actually from cast iron, in the cast iron carbon is this much percentage. So this much percentage of carbon, it is reduced to only 0.2 percentage. That means most of the carbon is almost removed. Okay. Next, in order to remove the other impurities, okay, we have to add into this molten cast iron. We have to add quicklime. Quicklime is added, calcium oxide. When quicklime is added, so this quicklime, it acts as a flux. Okay, so what happens? This quicklime, it will react with phosphorus. Okay, it will and form calcium phosphate. Okay, calcium phosphate. It reacts with silicon, calcium silicate to form calcium silicate. It reacts with so like this, sulfur, calcium sulfate, etc. So what happened? So this calcium oxide, so it reacts with the impurities. These are the impurities. So these are impurities. So the substance which react with the impurities is said to be flux. That means calcium oxide, it is added into this molten iron as a flux, so that what happened? The flux always reacts with the impurities. Okay, the flux, calcium oxide, it reacts with the impurities, and finally those impurities, they are converted into slag. Okay, so the material which is formed when flux react with impurity, so that material is said to be slag. Okay, so what is formed inside this molten cast iron? So the molten iron, inside the molten iron, so slag it is formed. How slag is formed? See, the impurities which are present in the molten this cast iron. So what these impurities, they react with the calcium oxide, quicklime, so which is added as flux. The substance which is added in order to remove the impurities, that substance is said to be flux. Here calcium oxide or else quicklime is used as flux. So different types of fluxes will be available in the nature. Okay. So upon heating, what happens? Generally, initially the phosphorus or silicon or sulfur, they are converted into their oxides initially, and those oxides will react with this calcium oxide. Actually, they are present in the form of oxides. They are present in the form of oxides, and those oxides will react, and this calcium oxide will remove the oxides of phosphorus, silicon and sulfur in the form of different compounds. Okay, so finally all this material is nothing but what? The slag. It is called as slag. So the slag, finally the impurities are converted into slag. Now after completion of this one, so finally this if after reducing all the impurities, or after reducing all the impurities, so here this cast iron contain iron, carbon, silicon, sulfur, silicon, phosphorus. So all these impurities are also present in more amount in cast iron. So all the impurities present in the cast iron, they are reduced to greater extent. Okay, they are converted into slag. Okay, now very little amount of impurities are left over. Okay, so unreacted. So now that material, it is called as wrought iron. See actually, so this the after melting and after addition of flux, so after all these reactions, so even hematite also will convert the carbon into carbon monoxide, and all other impurities are converted into slag. Finally, this molten material, it is poured into rollers. So this molten material, when it is poured into rollers, what happens? So from this molten material, so that I mean that the slag, so slag which is present, it is squeezed out. So slag is squeezed out. Slag. This is slag. Slag is squeezed out, and here what you will get? We will get a wrought iron. Wrought iron. Wrought iron. So finally, wrought iron is obtained from what? This molten cast iron. Molten cast iron. So actually, into this molten cast iron. So actually, these things have taken place. These reactions have taken place in the molten cast iron. So finally, so large amount of impurities are removed. So that means this wrought iron, it is almost nearly pure form of the iron, because all the impurities are removed in the form of slag. Okay. See what is flux. So in competitive exams, they may ask some questions. What is flux? Flux means the material which is added in order to remove the impurity is said to be slag, and sorry, it is said to be flux, and this flux will convert the impurities into slag. Flux will convert the impurities into slag upon reacting with the impurities. Okay, then what is slag? Slag is nothing but the fused material. The fused material. Fused material means liquid form, molten material. The fused material, okay, which is formed when flux reacts with impurity. Flux react with the impurities. Okay, when flux react with impurities, a fused material is formed, and that fused material is called as slag. Then what is flux? Flux is nothing but a substance which is added in order to remove the impurities is said to be flux. So like this, finally, when the slag is squeezed out from this malt, from this cast iron, from this material, okay, after all these reactions, the leftover material, from this leftover material, so when this leftover material, it is passed through the rollers. So actually rollers will they keep on rotating. So what happened through these rollers, if it is sent out rollers, so these rollers will squeeze out, or else sometimes we may hammer. So upon hammering this one, suppose, this is the leftover, I mean after all these reactions, the substance which is left over. So if it is beaten with the hammer, okay, it is beaten. If it is beaten with the hammer, this is a hammer. So if it is beaten with the hammer, what happened? Even in that case also, the cast iron will be squeezed out. It will be removed out. The slag which is formed, it will be squeezed out upon hammering that material. Okay, so like this, finally, after squeezing out all this slag, so what is the substance left over? The substance left over is said to be wrought iron. Okay, so in this way, wrought iron can be prepared. It can be manufactured from cast iron upon removing the impurities, upon reducing the impurities to a large extent. Okay, so here, this cast iron, how the impurities are removed from the cast iron? The impurities are removed with the help of this hematite lining and also with the help of flux. Okay, what is the flux used in the manufacturing of wrought iron from cast iron? Cast iron is also called as pig iron. Pig iron. Okay, so here in the manufacturing of wrought iron from pig iron, so the flux used is quicklime. Quicklime. Okay, right. Now we will learn the uses of this wrought iron. What are the uses? See, wrought iron is treated as a nearly pure form of iron. Okay, so if you see the uses of wrought iron, so it is used for making chains. Wrought iron, it is used to make chains. Okay, ornamental gates. Okay, chains, ornamental gates, railings, etc. Okay, railings, etc. And it is used for making trunk boxes and iron sheets roofing. Okay, to make trunks, trunk boxes or trunks, and and iron sheet roofing. So iron sheets for roofing purpose, for roofing purpose, roofs. Okay, roofing for roofing purpose. Next, it is used for making cores of the transformers and electrical motors. So actually electrical motor, so inside the electrical motor, so the material which is present in the center is said to be core. Okay, okay. So if it is electrical motor, the center portion it is said to be core. The core is made up of what? Wrought iron. So the core of the motors and the core of the transformers. So actually transformers, it contains materials like this. So the core of the transformer, the central portion of the car transformer, okay, transformers, okay, the core of transformers and electrical motors, okay, they are made up of wrought iron. So these are the uses of some of the uses. So etc. There are so many uses. So these are some of the uses of wrought iron. Now we will learn the difference, or else we will compare the cast iron from wrought iron and steel. Okay, so comparison of wrought iron, steel, and cast iron. Cast iron, it is the impure form, the most impure form of iron is called as uh, cast iron. Cast iron, it is also called as pig iron. Okay. Okay, comparison of properties. Properties of cast iron, wrought iron, and steel. Okay, so these three materials, three different materials. Okay, so there are so many properties which differ in these materials. So just we learn in the form of tabular form. So the property, okay, property, cast iron or pig iron. Cast iron is also called as what? Pig iron. Cast iron or pig iron. Cast iron or pig iron. Okay, next uh, wrought iron and steel. Okay, wrought iron and steel. Okay, so uh, these are the comparisons. Here the properties are compared. So the first property is carbon content, percentage of carbon, percentage of carbon. See, cast iron, it is the most impure form of the iron we know. So here the percentage of carbon will be very high. The percentage of carbon will be around 2.5 to 5%. Okay, but in wrought iron, the percentage of iron will be around, this carbon will be around 0.1 to 0.2%. Okay, in steel, in steel, it is somewhat less. I mean, zero point 0.5 to 0.15 percentage. Okay, sorry, 0.1 to 0.15 percentage. So the carbon content is more in cast iron. Okay, so it is intermediate in steel, and in wrought iron it is some intermediate in wrought iron, and it is less in steel. Okay. Next, if you see the melting point. If you see the melting point of cast iron, the cast iron, it melts around 1200 degrees centigrade. Around it melts around 1200 degrees centigrade. Okay. Uh, Here wrought iron, its melting point is around 1525 degrees centigrade. Okay, so it is around 1200 degrees centigrade, and the wrought iron is 1525 degrees centigrade. Okay, next the steel, its melting point between these two temperatures. So that means between 1200 to 1500 degrees centigrade. So here, why this range? Because steel, it contains impurities. Impurities, I mean other carbon and other impurities. They are somewhat in more percentages. Okay. I mean other impurities are present in more number. So depending upon the impurities, sometimes it may be 1200, or else sometimes it may be 1500, or else between these. So like this. So the melting points of cast iron, wrought iron and steel will be like this. And if you see the brittleness, see this is very brittle. Whenever the carbon percentage increases, what happens? The brittleness increases. Okay, so here it is not brittle uh, because here the percentage of carbon, uh, it is very less. And in the steel, if you see, brittleness depend upon the carbon content, and anywhere, whatever the wherever it may be. So actually, the brittleness of this steel, it depends upon the percentage of the impurities present in it. So here, the brittleness of the steel depends on percentage of carbon present in the material. Okay, steel material. Next, if you see the hardness is another property. If you compare the hardness, so this is very hard. Cast iron is very hard material. Okay, very hard material. So wrought iron, it is soft but tough. Okay, soft. Wrought iron is soft but it is tough. Okay, see here again in this case also the hardness also depends upon the percentage carbon. Depends on what? Hardness also depends upon what? Percentage of carbon. Next, if you see the nature of the cast iron, see it is non-malleable, okay, non-ductile and cannot be welded. So if you see this nature, non-malleable, that means we cannot use this cast iron in order to make a thin sheets, or else non-ductile. That means here, so thin wires, very even wires are also cannot be made from cast iron because it is a non-ductile material. Okay, and it cannot be welded. Cannot be welded. That means when some pieces of cast iron are present, so in order to combine, in order to join all the pieces of cast iron, we cannot join them because this cast iron it cannot be welded. Okay, we cannot weld or else we cannot join the pieces of cast iron into a single piece because it cannot be welded. So like this. And here, if you speak about the wrought iron, it is a malleable, ductile, and can be tampered and welded. So if you see the nature of wrought iron, so it can be malleable. It is malleable. That means we can make thin sheets of iron from wrought iron. Okay, and ductile. That means we can draw wires also from wrought iron. Okay, it can be welded. Okay, this wrought iron can be welded and tempered. Okay, tempered. What is the meaning of tempered? Tempered means annealing. Annealing means slow cooling of this molten material. Okay, slow cooling. We can change the properties of this iron upon by heating. But under controlled temperature, we can change the properties of iron. Already we learned this one. So here tempering it is also called as annealing. Annealing is nothing but, or annealing or tempering, it is nothing but what? It is nothing but the process of slowly cooling of molten iron. Okay, the process of slowly cooling of molten iron, so that around 4 to 5 days, or else 4 to 5 hours, so that the material will become somewhat good, improved properties. Okay, so that process is said to be tempering or else annealing. Annealing or tempering is nothing but slow cooling. Okay, so here this wrought iron, it can be tempered also. Okay, that means we can change the properties of the wrought iron by heating and cooling it very slowly. Okay, right. And if you see the properties of steel, steel is also malleable, it's also ducted, and it can be tempered and welded. So the same properties are applicable to steel also. That means it is malleable. The steel, that means we can make a very thin sheets of steel, and we can draw wires, steel wires. Okay, it is also ductile. Okay, it is welded. Steel can be welded. Okay, and even it can be tempered. Okay, that means we can change the properties. Tempered means we can change the properties uh, initially by heating, and after that slowly cooling. Okay, for 4 to 5 hours. So that process is said to be tempering. So tempering will change the properties. Okay, right. The next property, the next comparable property is resistance to corrosion. Resistance to corrosion. Resistance to corrosion. What is the meaning of corrosion? Corrosion is nothing but what? Damaging. So generally metals get damaged when they react with the atmosphere. Okay, so the surface of the metals generally gets spoiled. It become weakened. Okay, the inner layers will become will remain strong only, but the surface layer will get weakened, and it will shed off timely. It will shed off. Okay, right. So the process of damaging of metals, okay, when reacted with atmosphere, is said to be corrosion. So here this cast iron, it is resistant to corrosion. So this one is resistant to corrosion. But this wrought iron easily rusts. It easily rusts in moist air. Okay, so in moist air, what happens? It easily rusts in moist air. Even this steel also easily rusts. Easily rusts in moist air. In moist air. So here what happened? Why it is not rusting? Why it cannot be? Yeah, why cast iron it is having resistance to corrosion? So it is having a resistant to corrosion because of the presence of large amount of impurities, mainly the carbon. So whenever the percentage of carbon is more, what happens? It will carbon and even other impurities are also present in more amounts. So due to that reason, so this cast iron or also pig iron, it is a highly resistant to corrosion. Okay. So now if you see the uses, so these are all different properties, and if you see the uses, if you compare the uses of these uh, these three materials, now we'll see the uses. Compare the uses of this. See, actually, it is very hard. So this one is very hard, and resistance to corrosion. So used for making drainage pipes. Drainage pipes, because because it is very hard, and it is also resistant to corrosion. Hence we have to so we make this cast iron. Okay, I mean to this cast iron, it is made into usage. So for making drainage pipes. Okay, manhole covers, manhole covers, manhole covers. Okay, gates, railings, gates, railings. Okay, and weights, and the manufacturing of weights. Okay, weights. So even weights also, 1 kg weight, 2 kg weight, that stones, weighing stones. Okay, they are also made from cast iron. Okay, because of its nature. What is its property? It's very hard and resistant to corrosion. So because of that nature, so this cast iron, it is used in the manufacturing of these things. Okay, next, if you see about the wrought iron, it is very tensile, hence it is used for making chains. Okay, as it is tensile, because of the property of tensile. Tensile means it can withstand heavy loads. Tensile means which can withstand heavy loads without breaking, is said to be tensile nature. So wrought iron is having tensile nature. So that means, so when any material, if it is having tensile nature, so from that material, from that materials, or from that metals, we can make chains. Okay, chains, trunks, because as it is malleable, so we can make a trunks. Okay, and horseshoe magnets, this is important. Horseshoe magnets, horseshoe magnets are made from wrought iron. Okay, and as a core of electric motors and transformers, already we have seen. So it is used in the core of what? Electric and this one, core of electric motors and transformers. Okay, so these are the uses of some of the uses of etc, etc. Okay, now compare these are the comparative properties. And if you see the steel, so steel is it is very high structural and tensile strength. So these have structural strength and tensile strength. These have more tensile strength, and it is very hard and resistant to corrosion. So because of its high structural strength and tensile strength, so steel can be used for making automobile parts. Because of more structural strength and also more tensile strength, it is used to make automobile parts. It is used to make automobile parts. Ships. Okay, ships are made up of steel. Even bridges are also made up of steels. Okay, bridges. Okay, even buildings, all the constructions generally, in all the construction we use steel material, and RCC roofs and pillars, machines, etc. RCC roofs. Okay, in making pillars. Okay, in making machines, etc. So because of its high structural strength and high tensile strength, steel is used in these purposes. So for these purposes, we cannot use either wrought iron or else cast iron. Okay, so this cast iron, it is being very hard and high, resistant to corrosion. So we can make this cast iron. This cast iron can be used to make these things. Okay. So like this, the comparison between these things can be learned. Okay. Right. So we will learn the other things in the next video.